The lies and the lack of accountability. That's what hits me most when I look at our government. It's really, really what hits me when I dwell on things like Afghanistan. And no, I'm not letting it go. I'm never going to let it go what they did. Getting our 13 guys killed. I'm never going to let it go. And then not just getting them killed, because yes, decisions are made in war. People die. It's awful. Taking no responsibility, no accountability of it. Now, instead of honoring them, speaking about them, they just flat out ignore them and act like they don't exist. Yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of Afghanistan's collapse. Joe Biden didn't say a word about it. So I'll say a couple extra words about it, things you may not know. My buddy James Hassan and Jerry Dunleavy, you know they wrote that book, Kabul, about the failed pullout of Afghanistan. And there's all kinds of stuff in there that's rage-inducing, but stuff you should read, stuff you should know. Did you know that the commanders knew there was a threat of a suicide bomber days beforehand? Did nothing about it. Did you know that we could have potentially taken out a suicide bomber with a drone strike? And they decided not to because they didn't want the Taliban to get upset. Yes, that's right. Our guys could have been saved, but we didn't want to upset the Taliban. The same Taliban who now regularly mock us on social media, parading around all that equipment you and I paid for. We even pay them to do it. $2.35 billion so far to the Taliban. $2.35 billion. And then there's this report.
Now, how do everybody says you could have gotten out without anybody being hurt. No one's come up with a way to ever indicate to me how that happens.
That's what makes me so angry. That's what makes me so angry. And I'm not even saying as President of the United States, he has to get on his knees and beg for forgiveness about what happened. But what happened is wrong. What happened got our people killed. And nobody, not Biden, none of the generals, not the defense secretary, nobody has stepped up and said, hey, could have done that differently. I wish it had gone differently. In fact, to this day, they still brag about it. And so, no, I'm not going to open up the show with yet another thing about the Trump indictment stuff. You know, we'll cover that stuff as it comes along. There are bigger things at play in this country. Bigger things as in we have demons who run this country. Evil people run the United States of America. You know, Joe Biden didn't speak about Afghanistan yesterday, but he did get up and he bragged about the economy and how well everybody's doing. Man, things are going really great here. Just told a whole list of lies, easily verifiable lies. One of them is the main one I just talked about how great everybody's doing. Except, you see, this is what I talk about when I say these people, they share the same three characteristics. 1, no love of country. 2, no connection to how real people, normal people live. And 3, they think they're kings and queens. Let's focus on 2, no connection to how normal people live. $709 a month. That's what it's costing you. It's $8,000 a year plus, give or take. $709 a month. I did not do TV and radio for most of my life. Most of my life, I have lived very normally, very normal jobs, from washing cars to the Marines to construction to the RV sales. If you, at any other point in my life, added $709 worth of bills to my docket, I think I would have to sell something. I would have to move. I would be in trouble for sure. Normal people, maybe you're going through this, are suffering under this. And instead of proposing things that will change it or even acting like they care, they get up day after day after day and they just lie to your face and tell you how great it was. And speaking of lying to your face, Joe Biden, there's something missing inside of him. You see, I've known many politicians in my life. I haven't really cared for many of them, to be honest with you, but I've known many politicians and watched many politicians the same way you have. And I've known many compulsive liars in my life. Sad to say I have, but I do. Shoot, I used to work with a guy. You know what we all said about him? There's a saying about him. That guy would rather climb a tree to tell a lie than stand on the ground and tell the truth. He would just lie about everything, no matter what it was, no matter what the subject was, lies would just pour out of his mouth that didn't even make any sense. And yet even he wouldn't tell the easily verifiable lies like Joe Biden does all the time. And it's just so routine for him. Things that are easy to verify that he's lying, like him watching the bridge collapse in Pittsburgh.
By the way, Pittsburgh is a city of bridges, more bridges in Pittsburgh than any other city in America. I watched that bridge collapse. I got there and saw it collapse with over 200 feet off the ground going over a valley. It collapsed. Thank God school was out.
We have the presidential schedules. In fact, in this day and age of social media, there's all kinds of time-stamped video and everything else. Joe Biden didn't get there for hours after that bridge collapsed. That's not an opinion. It's not left wing or right wing. It's not my thoughts on the matter. That's a fact. And yet the truth isn't in him. I don't know what it is. And on top of everything else, he continues to make people in his own party look stupid when they try to support him. Gwen Moore tried to introduce him, and that didn't go well.
President Joe Biden, y'all. Uh-oh. Well, I'm a little underwhelmed, aren't you all? I think I messed up. Y'all, please vote for me, okay?
Oops, old Joe's back there. He's eating his pudding. Which brings us to what I think's next, what I think's coming. I see the Gavin Newsom train coming, and I see it a mile away. Gavin Newsom doing his TV tour, traveling all around America, which is weird as the governor of California. He's got this big debate coming up with DeSantis. He's already bragging about the whole thing. Oh, I saw the LA Times had an article out there saying Dianne Feinstein needs to be booted out of office and then replaced with Dome. They want to put Kamala Harris in her place as senator. Why would they be doing that? Well, clear out a little bit of space for Governor Hair Gel there. I'm telling you right now, the system, they already have managed to indict and they will arrest and I believe imprison the leading Republican candidate. But the system doesn't stop there. The system doesn't look at 4 indictments for Trump and say, phew, we got this, guys, we're good to go. Let it go. That's not how these people think. The system is going to want to make sure. I'm telling you, they're going to give Joe Biden the heave-ho. You watch. I have great news. If you enjoyed that, I have a YouTube channel you can subscribe to. Whatever I do, it'll be right there on YouTube, so go subscribe today.